Welcome back to the show! Yeah. How great was that?
PC Woodworks for you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I thought I would film these crates I am making to go onto the store. Let's see, I've got these at the original width of 11 1/4, and they are 13 inches tall, if I remember. No, I cut them down. They're 12 inches tall, sorry. And each of these I am cutting at 17 inches. No, 17 3/4, because they will overlap onto the sides of this, like so. One thing to note when working with pallet wood is you are going to have split ends like this. Not split ends in the hair, but split ends like this. So I try to keep them if I can because it kind of adds to the character of the box. But at the end there you saw me flipping around because this one was split, and it was split so bad the wood was actually shifting. And splitting like you were pulling a piece of paper apart. So I flipped it around and cut off as much of that as I could. Though there is a little bit left. And one thing more to note, adding character, are these nail holes. I suggest if you can, save them, use them in your box because it adds character. I've said that. Character. So, let's move over there. So I have 3 pieces to the bottom, 3 pieces for each side, and I think it's going to look pretty cool. Pretty cool. Now I am going to cut the corner pieces for these boxes. So now what I need to do is make the corner pieces. So basically I have got a piece of 2x4 that I have ripped down to 1 1/4 by 1 1/4. And I'm going to cut this cross member out of it. So basically I'll have 3/8 left in a corner piece shape. So we're going to do that now. Now you just have to cut these into the total height of the crate, which will be 12 inches. Okay, so now in order to cut these to the proper length, it's going to be adding thickness to this. So this has to be added on. And for me, it happens to be right on the edge, so I can't use my stop block or the fence. So what I've done is I've just placed it and then drew a line, you can see it there, so that when I go to cut my piece, I can just slide it up to the line, and it should be right on. There we are. 4 corner pieces for the crate. Okay, so now you kind of get a bit of an idea of how this is going to look. Of course, nothing is attached, and I'm just kind of praying it doesn't fall apart for this shot. But yeah, that's it. I'm thinking I want to kind of curve the top of this as well as put the handle in. So I am going to take my little shape stencil here. Basic shapes, I can just kind of take, you know, part of this oval and add it onto part of this heart and make the different shapes that I need. But for this purpose, I think I'm just going to kind of take the corner of the oval now for the handle. Start with the rectangle here. Of course, it's out of the center. Why would we measure? Actually, it's oddly very close to the middle. We'll call that one lucky to measure this one. Though you don't have to. I mean, the whole point of these is they were all, original ones were built quick and in a hurry. So, even original ones, they weren't perfect. By all means, if you've ever seen one, you know what I'm talking about. So, before I take it to the saw, I am going to take my 1-inch Forstner bit and drill out the bulk of the material first. Okay, so we're all cut out here. We have our curves and we have our handles. So now I'm just going to take it to the spindle sander and clean them up a bit, then we can start putting it together. Okay, so I've got a classical bit in here. I decided it might look a little bit better than just a round over. Sides of the box all mocked together here, and because we put this curve on here, these corner capping pieces have to be cut out to match that curve. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just taking my pencil and I'm tracing out the shape of this area. One thing I did notice, because I put these curves on here, it changed the height of the sides, because you don't want the sides coming up to meet this with the curve there. So what I'm going to do is rip this middle board on a ½ inch off of it so that it'll have a gap in between the other top and bottom side pieces. So I have 100 grit sandpaper on, and I'm just very lightly going over, just take down any high spots that could possibly give somebody a sliver or splinter. Okay, so I showed you marking these edges, or the very top profile of these corner pieces. I decided, because that might change once it's all together, that I put it together, because these won't last anyways. We'll put it together and then put these on and double check and make sure that the curvature is going to match, and if not, we'll retrace it. I have a square here. I'm just going to kind of put this on here and... For me, I think 6.5 inches is... Alright, so now we have two bottom pieces on and one top one. Now I got one that I ripped. I took a ½ inch off of this one and a couple other ones for the middle slots. Now I'm just going to kind of find a spot that looks good. Alright, down to the last one. I ripped this down. It is now 3 inches. It's now 3 inches instead of 3.5. So I'm just going to find a spot that looks good like before. Up and double check how they're going to fit. Alright. Yeah, there's a slight change because we're using pallet wood. These don't always stay consistent. Now I'm just going to put each one up and retrace where the new position is. Then we're ready to cut. There it is, all cut out. It looks pretty cool. So now the only thing left to do is to go cut the rest of these out and glue them on. One thing, I did round over all the way around this that I showed earlier, but once I cut it, I had to re-round over this part here. So, be right back. Welcome back to the show! There. How great was that? So, we are all glued up. The crate is looking pretty cool. And I think what I'm going to do is actually kind of scorch the wood with a propane torch. The only thing left is to throw some polyurethane on it. I'm thinking of maybe staining it. I'm not sure yet. We'll get there when we get there. So we are outside, and as you can see, I have made a stencil that we're going to spray paint with this. And I think I'm going to do it on both sides. It says New York, December 8th, 1:30 p.m. and state is New York. So it should look pretty cool.
I'm going to try to spray it straight on so it doesn't get underneath the paper. Oh, shoot. I guess I'll tape off the whole thing.
Alright, so here we are. The crate is now finished. We have our stamp and our burned wood. I took a torch to it lightly, scorched it here and there, but turned it pretty good. Outside, beautiful day. I hope you enjoyed this build. It's been a cool little fun little thing. It's going up my Etsy store, which just opened last night, and so check it out. It's under Forever Wooden. For the number ever wooden, all one thing. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, and I'll see you later. But one more thing. Sun-kissed crate in the garbage the other day, and I had broken bottom slots, which I had some cherry from the pallet, which we actually used right here on the sides of this crate, and I repaired it. Used the original nails, and part of the crate label here was lifted up a bit, so I glued it back down, and it is completely covered in a spray polyurethane, so it's all protected. It's not going to go anywhere or get wrecked, but it's in pretty good condition now, so it's also on the Etsy store. And this I didn't mention, got a coat of lacquers. So yeah, if you're new to this channel, there's new woodworking videos every week, and like I said, check us out on the social media platforms, and I will see you next time. Don't forget to build something today.